No reception.
We need to get that key. See if you can call Sparks from the roof.
Going somewhere?
Enemy behind you. Enemy behind you.
Let me first apologize
For what?
for this.
Sparks, charge up the EMP. Here's one. So I read the game script and it was all this action, flipping out the car window. And I was like, how are they going to shoot all of this? They're going to shoot 2, 3, and this video game script. And then when I found out later there was going to be a game, I thought that was cool. I thought that was really cool. I really did, because I love video games. Resident Evil is like my favorite. So when I found out there was going to be a video game and kind of the nature of it, I was like, that's hot. That is hot. So I was down for that for sure. I am. I'm really excited to be a video game character. I don't think there's any video games that really has any black females that I can recall at this particular point of time. But I think that's really exciting. I really do. For many different reasons. Many, 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 many different reasons. I could go on and tell you why that is. But, and the fact that I enjoy playing video games. I think it'll be pretty cool playing myself. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get on the game and play myself and say, did I really walk like that? It'll be a bit surreal, but I think it'll be really exciting to actually sit down with that Sony PlayStation or Xbox or whatever and just take up those joysticks and go for it. Well, the game works as a parallel universe with the movies. So if when you go to see Matrix Reloaded, this is a metaphor. You're in the living room and you're seeing what's happening with Trinity and Neo. The game shows you what is happening in the bathroom or the billiard room of the same house at the same time. When you first enter the game, you enter an apprenticeship in the way that Neo enters an apprenticeship with Morpheus when in the first movie. So there's a training tutorial aspect of the game. So even before you sit down to start actually doing the gameplay, what will happen is Sparks and Niobe will train the player. So we'll actually get you to practice your kicks. We'll actually get you to practice to shoot guns. We'll actually get you to practice how to take on an agent or a sentinel. So you have a training, and you got to get through that first. So once you get a little level of mastery, then you enter the real game. And you can choose either Niobe or Ghosts. Now, if you choose Niobe, you get her perspective. I'm in that game, obviously. But you'll get her perspective and you'll use her strengths. For example, Niobe is the fastest driver in all of Matrix Land. And Ghost is the best gunner in all of Matrix Land. So you'll obviously go in with certain strengths and certain challenges, whichever character you choose.
And the boys had this very unique idea about the video game, that they wanted to make the video game directly related to the movie. So where there are some scenes in the movie that'll have interaction between characters and they'll stop in the movie, that scene will continue in the game. The same characters, the same location, and then that will continue and feature into the next part of the game. Now, you have to understand that those scenes are written by the boys, directed by the boys, cut by the boys. So they're actually directly involved in the making of the video game, which was their idea from the beginning, which has never been done before. Because the game is a martial arts game, it's a driving game, it's a shooting game, it's many different, has many different levels. As you get to these parts of the game, you connect with parts of the movie that give you more information. And it's a completely new way of experiencing the video game concept, as well as incorporating it into the experience of the movie. Also because the Wachowski brothers did write the game themselves. They understand video gaming, so they wrote this game, and by having them write the game, it directly relates to the movie. It's not some software designer in San Diego writing a game, it's them writing the game. Jada's character, Anthony's character, does things you've never seen game characters do. There's different kinds of running, different kinds of walking. There's different ways of getting around things. When they shoot up a room, they actually shoot up the room. You don't just, it really has so many, there's so many permutations to everything. So if you play as Anthony, it's not the same game as you play as Jada. It's a different game, and different things can occur. It's everything for everybody.
Seen the surface.
It's nothing now but one big graveyard. Oh my God.
It's an army.
What is that thing?
Some kind of tunneling machine.
Oh no.
What?
Look where we are. What's 4 kilometers straight down?
Zion.
Go, go, go. Zion has to be warned.
How?
Someone has to get to a drop point.
What? Are you crazy? We can't broadcast now.
We have to.
I'll go.
There isn't much time.
I'll make it.
a lot of help from NVIDIA engineers. The Halo guys talked about them writing code for them. They're doing the similar things for us. If we run into certain problems, they are very helpful, not only solving it for NVIDIA hardware, as the Halo guy talked about as well, but looking at the broader picture of, PC gaming through DX9. And very similar goal to NVIDIA here, that when you buy the game, you take it out of the box, you put it in your machine, it has to work. There's nothing worse than someone buying a game and having to fiddle around half an hour to be able to make the game work. And the way it's meant to be played, obviously NVIDIA is the market leader, and we're in the business of making money. So you support the market leader. It's very simple. The same thing in the console space. If Sony's the market leader, you support Sony. We fine-tune our titles to optimize performance on NVIDIA hardware. Same thing there. They are the market leader. If we look at optimizing for any specific hardware, it is for NVIDIA. So yes, when we talk about fine-tuning, we don't go in and ask NVIDIA to do anything specific for our games, but we make sure that our games run really well on NVIDIA hardware. So when we talk about optimizing, we spend obviously a lot of time to make sure that it runs on everything that is out there on the market. And that is the NVIDIA hardware, the most of it. And as I say, it's a partnership. It's not a one-way street. They are very influential in showing our game on their hardware. And at the same time, it's good for us that our games run well on their hardware. So we do support each other both ways. We also have other things with NVIDIA other than specific hardware. We have a great relationship with them actually running on their N4 servers, constantly running 64 player battles. One of the few platforms that can actually support that from a hardware perspective. So that's a really great initiative that we have together with them on a broader basis.
We like to think of it as an interactive horror film. The FX line of cards allows us to bring that to players and have people really play a game that approaches, on a pre-rendered basis, the cinematic quality that you would get from movies. Completion of Doom 3 and release of the game hopefully will have a big impact. People will be impressed by it, and that's obviously the task that's sort of in front of us right now. But I think that sort of looking beyond that, if we can look to the example of Quake 3, I think that once the game is done and once people have an opportunity to play it and the development community sees sort of what the power of John's paradigm of the real-time dynamic lighting and shadowing, bump mapping on all the surfaces, and then how all those things interact is that that will, other developers will step into that path, and not just developers who are using Doom 3 as a technology base for their game as a licensee of ours, but the industry as a whole. And even internally, I think John really thinks ahead of where everyone else is thinking in terms of what's coming next, where sort of the bends in the curve are in terms of you have this visual impact on people. And video games were always all about somebody who maybe is for the hardcore gamers, you obviously want to impress them. But to me, sort of the benchmark about whether you've really done something unique and innovative is to somebody who maybe hasn't played a game in a couple of years or so, and they come in and they look over somebody who's playing, they go, whoa, wow, you can do that in a video game now? And when you get that sort of reaction, which we've gotten with Doom 3, is that I feel confident that I know that we're going in the right direction. The biggest endorsement I think that I could give really any hardware partner is that the FX line of products is basically our development platform at id. So all the designers, all the artists, they all use basically 5900 boards or are in the process of getting one on all of their machines. Doom 3 is not a game for kids, and so that's not our objective. And just like that, there's entertainment for people who are younger and people who are more mature. We feel this is a game that is really sort of targeted towards people who are like in this room that are, my age. I'm 35. I'm looking forward to us finishing the game, not just so that we can be done with it, but so I can get a chance to actually play it all the way through, because that's the first thing that I do whenever we're done with the game is I love to get my own box copy of the game, shipped from Activision, open it up and install it just like everybody else does. Make sure they didn't screw something up between the time we handed them off the code and they put it in the box, and then actually get through and play it.
To start with, I'd prefer to explain briefly what Stalker is about. So the game is about radioactivity, it's about anomalies, it's about mutants, it's about anomalous spots of energy. The game is set in Chernobyl, and currently we have this fly-through when we are underneath the sarcophagus, which covers the ruined Chernobyl power plant. In order to do research for the game, we specifically went into the very Chernobyl zone. We did it twice. We took about 1,000 of pictures and our proprietary video, and we've been using extensively these assets in creating the game, so that we have about 60% of the architecture and the textures are really authentic. They're from real Chernobyl. And for instance, this model of the sarcophagus itself, in the game you will even be able to enter it and explore it. And I'm sure this is, we have it pretty much authentically and realistically modeled, probably the most sophisticated 3D model of this thing so far. Here we have some of the monsters and some of the creatures you will see in the game. They're just doing some idle animations. You can see high-resolution textures and sophisticated lighting models we've been using for it. As far as the genre of the game is concerned, it's survival FPS RPG. It's kind of complex, but I'll explain how it works together. Survival is because we play in a totally hostile area in this Chernobyl zone, which is full of radioactivity, full of mutants, full of anomalous spots of energy, God knows what, where we have to survive. Like at every step there will be danger ahead. It's also FPS since you have first-person view and lots of weapons and lots of enemies to kill, and it's also about RPG elements such as communication, such as trade-off items, such as economic development of the character. So it all works together. According to the storyline, a second explosion happens there in Chernobyl in 2006. It has a near-future setting. And after this explosion, a certain weird zone appears. People can see some anomalous energy explosions happening off the center of the zone. Scientists who try to go and explore what's happening there, they disappear. So the government has nothing better to do than cordon off the whole area, seal it with army forces and let nobody in until some solution is found. Then several years pass and these explosions continue and mutants show up on the borders of this place and army keeps shooting them back. But curiosity keeps growing at the same time, and some of the amateurs, some people start sneaking illegally into the place trying to find out what's happening there. And these people got to be known as stalkers. They locate some objects, they find some objects which absorb anomalous energy in this place, and they try selling these objects to various corporations, scientists, interested in exploring and interested in researching this anomalous energy. So these guys are our stalkers actually. And in the game, you will play as such a stalker newbie who just enters the place to find out what's happening there, what's really behind those explosions, what's controlling this particular zone. We play with building a storyline. We play with lots of conspiracy theories and some semi-documentary facts about what really caused this Chernobyl explosion. We also had some fictional stories. In the game, the player will need to explore and find out where the truth is. In order to add to the atmosphere of survival, the player will experience hunger in the game. So you'll need to eat from time to time. You'll have foodstuffs there. When you're extremely hungry, you can kill a bird or a mutant rat and eat it. Of course, it's bad food, so you'll have your health kind of decrease. And it's also radioactive, this flesh, so you'll have a level of radiation in your blood increase. Naturally, you can kill radiation with vodka. There will be some. Yeah, it's the game set in Ukraine. You're Russia, you know, so can't do without vodka. And you also experience, you have endurance parameters, so if you are fully loaded with various stuff, like there will be a weight limit of say 40 kilograms, and you keep running and jumping and being very active, you start losing the endurance, and so if you are completely exhausted, you will faint, so you'll need to sleep from time to time as well to take some rest. It's one of the latest features we implemented, and it's dynamic change of day and night. We'll have time cycles going in the game. Like every week of the game, you will have explosions of anomalous energy happening over the center of this zone. And with every such explosion, the area itself, there are 18 levels in total, and they all joined into one global map. The anomalous spots of energy will change their location. So you'll be playing in a dynamic world which is changing. We have about 100 NPC stalkers. The guys who are just the same as yourself, they're doing the same tasks and objectives, have the same objectives as you have in the game. So if you stand still doing nothing, one of the NPCs may even complete the game instead of you. And we plan about 8 different endings for the game, depending on the style of your playthrough, depending on how much of exploration you did, how aggressive you were, what kind of information you have collected about the place. You will reach a different ending. Well, as a conclusion for our presentation here, I'd like to thank NVIDIA for this great opportunity to be here among you today. And we have been very happy with our cooperation with NVIDIA and its engineers. And we have all the hopes that we help each other pushing the technology forward. And we do hope to keep up this good cooperation for our companies.
Just went into overdrive.
We've always brought our games out to the point where the first time we ship a new iteration of a game, it really pushes the hardware. And in fact, it limits our customer set a little bit. So we have to make sure that the games, that on the high-end hardware that we're going to require, on the day we ship the game, that it runs really, really well, that everything works exactly the way we intended it to, that users don't have problems, that drivers are stable, that everything works really, really well. And that's where a strong partnership with NVIDIA is important to anybody that's going to make 3D games. So one thing we found out with NVIDIA is that it's always a reliable out-of-box experience, which means, as you heard others say, fewer support calls and fewer customer returns. NVIDIA makes our life pain-free. We don't have to worry about their cards. We know their drivers are going to work. We know that our technology is going to work on them, both from the day we ship to the day the last guy stops playing our game. And I know that sounds, well, why would you care about that? Well, it's really important that they don't break, that IHVs don't release drivers that break our game or ruin the visual quality or lower the performance, because they're always, it's very easy to think about, well, the next big game that's coming out, we got to tune our drivers to make sure they work really well for that game, and in the process ruin somebody else's experience. The last point is pretty generic, but it just hits the point home that we're partnering with NVIDIA to further the quality of gaming on Windows. Of course, we work closely with Microsoft and with other vendors as well, but NVIDIA's clearly been our premier partner. They've clearly been the guys who have the most customers out there, and it's really important for us. Like I say, they're reliable. We don't have to worry so much about them.
boys are good.
Flank right! Watch out!
We need backup!
Don't shoot him!
I told you 100 times, stop talking like that. You never know who's listening.
Starsky.
Far out! Hey! Be careful of the car! Fantastic! Woo! Now you're smoking!
Weapons of Total Destruction, LucasArts brings you an unprecedented look at the enormous firepower of Armed and Dangerous. What follows contains graphic illustrations and rare insights into the arsenal of rebel soldiers known as the Lionhearts. Weapons of Total Destruction. The weapons are deadly. The footage is raw. The facts are classified. In a fair and just world, all battles would be created equal. This is not such a world.
Attack!
In their single-minded mission to overthrow Mylola's tyrant king, rebel soldiers possess a lethal edge: weaponry. Invented by the tea baron Hieronymus Fleming, the Fleming machine gun carries a clip size of 100 shots, fires at a rate of 50 BPS, and strikes fear into the hearts of men and rabbits alike. The Cyclops sniper rifle allows the Lionhearts to pick off unsuspecting enemies from a range of very far away. Its high-powered bullets are so potent that they will rip in a straight line through multiple objects. For the soldier on the go, the Vindaloo rocket launcher is the must-have weapon for your average rebellion. Comes in 2 models, 2 rocket, and the extra spicy 4 rocket version. Originally used to clean out the onion mines of Midden, the land shark gun employs an actual baby land shark to zero in on its targets. An advanced system of hormone treatments and cattle prods maximize the shark's size and adds bite to any rebel's arsenal. A surefire way to stick it to your enemy. The Sticky Bomb has long-range capabilities and a short fuse. An essential weapon in any rebel's basic armory. The concept is simple. Stop the world and kick your enemies off. With the Topsy-Turvy Bomb, soldiers use an anti-gravity corkscrew to turn the world upside down. Forge Weapons Labs introduces the world's first black hole in a cardboard box. And that's exactly what it is. Soldiers simply remove it from its box, which allows the enemy to be swallowed up, literally. Adds punch to any war. Portable, mean-spirited, and deadly. The knockout bomb is everything you want in a weapon. Plus, it brings the fun back into war.
We need more bullets! Lots more bullets!
These high-powered weapons allow even the slowest and most dim-witted of soldiers to navigate this war-torn region. Deep inside the world of Armed and Dangerous, every soldier's survival hinges on their arsenal of technology. Mechanically imperfect, historically insignificant, outrageously unpredictable.
So, there you have it.
Roman, you're a big fat liar.
You think so? Here, have a look yourself.
Rated M for mature.
SWAT! Freeze! Hands in the air! Take cover! Hands in the air! Lee, take down.
Target acquired.
Jackson, secure. Yes, sir. Hands in the air! Let's go, team. SWAT, drop your weapons. Secure the area. I'm on it. I surrender!
SWAT Global Strike Team.
Nice work, team.
Hi, I'm Warren Spector, founder of Ion Storm's Austin office. I conceived and directed the first Deus Ex game. I'm going to take a little time to tell you a little bit about what we're up to right now. But before we get to Invisible War, the sequel to Deus Ex, I'd like to start by taking a look back at the first game, what made it special to me and to the rest of the team. For one thing, obviously we were all gratified that it was as well received by the public as it was. Deus Ex was the best-selling game I've worked on in 20 years of being in the game business. And on top of that, it was critically acclaimed. It won over 30 Game of the Year awards worldwide, including a BAFTA. I got to hold the same award that Laurence Olivier held, which was kind of a thrill. Let's talk a little bit about what made the first Deus Ex game special. The ability to create a unique alter ego. The ability to solve problems the way you want to. You get to make this game the kind of game you want. It's not just a shooter. It's not just a role-playing game. It has elements of shooters. It has elements of role-playing game. It even has elements of strategy games. And yet, you put all those pieces together, and it came out as something new and unique and very different in the world of gaming. So how do we top that? We want to take everything that made Deus Ex special and do more of it. We want to take everything that worked against the Deus Ex experience or wasn't critical and cut it. The Deus Ex play style, where you get to apply some common sense and decide how you're going to solve problems. We always thought that was a pretty mass market idea. But we threw all these barriers to players getting at all the gameplay goodness we created. Our interface was unnecessarily complex. The terminology we used was, a little too polysyllabic, In Invisible War, what we're trying to do is make the game more accessible to a larger audience. We want a lot of people playing the game and getting at what we think makes Deus Ex special. On a more specific level, what we're trying to do is have even deeper character development. We're giving you even more choices about how you develop your player character. We're completely rethinking our technology. It's all new from the ground up and absolutely state-of-the-art. The AI is much enhanced. I don't know that there's another game out there that can boast of a comparable collection of simulation elements. It's not just for the sake of technology that we're doing this. It's so, again, players can discover their own solutions to problems. They can figure out how they want to do stuff. They can shoot everything that moves. They can shoot nothing. They can talk to everybody. They can hack their way past problems using computer systems. They can figure out how to get past anything in the game the way they want to. That's critical to us. We've got a really cool storyline. It picks up where the last game left off, and it's still very conspiracy-oriented, very mystery-oriented. It actually starts 15 years after the first game. And one thing that you're not going to get out of me or anybody else on this team for a while is which of the 3 endgames from the first game we're actually sequeling. We have an interesting idea about that. We're not telling anybody what we're doing.
Let's go. Move!
But it's 15 years in the future. The world, I will tell you, is in a sorry state. Nations and various religious orders are using terrorism as a tool to impose their will, to set things right in the world as they define right. Interestingly, you don't play J.C. Denton, the character from the first game. You play a person named Alex D, who can be either male or female. You play a trainee for a high-tech anti-terrorist organization, but as you might expect in a Deus Ex game, you discover that things aren't quite what they seem. You're very powerful. You can create a character with the power to run 40 miles an hour, run as fast as a car, or throw the car if you want to go that way, or move silently, or see through walls, or suck the life force out of dead bodies to heal yourself if you take damage. One of your first goals, one of your most important goals, is to find Paul Denton and find JC Denton. You have to go find the characters who you played and interacted with in the first game. So you'll encounter a lot of old friends, a lot of old enemies, and at the end of the day, you have to decide who you're going to fight, who you're going to help, whether you're going to fight at all, and as in the first game, what the world looks like at the end of the game. It's not about killing the evil bad guy. It's not about killing everything that moves. It's about who are you in this world, how do you interact with this world, and what do you want the world to be when you get done. Why don't we take a look at the introduction where it all begins.
The infusion lab?
Evacuated.
Trainees?
Gave the order myself.
What did you tell them?
I told them to run.
That's all they need to hear until we reach Seattle.
Agreed.
Anything new on the terrorist?
He's in the city. No ID yet. Unclear whether we're the target.
An academic distinction if he really has a nanite detonator.
Survey region clear.
The security bots have acquired the target. We're too late!
Helipad, let's go. Move! City to get at us?
Our enemies aren't that desperate.
Perhaps we made a new enemy.
What if they already know about the Seattle facility?
We have other options.
We aren't equipped to fight a war.
We're going to change the terms of engagement. It's our war, not theirs. We don't need cities or armies. We have the cells of human bodies. An invisible weapon for an invisible war.
team requesting target coordinates. Sending target coordinates. Target acquired. Fox 1, missile away!
Travelers, you have traveled to a vengeance so far from your own lands, so far from your own world.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
Oh, here's a Eli now.
All right, good. You keep right up.
Eli, look who I found in the airlock.
Gordon Freeman. Let me get a look at you, man. My God, you haven't changed one iota. How do you do it? Now, let's see. The last time I saw you, I sent you up for help after the resonance cascade. I never thought it would take you this long to get back to me. Welcome to the lab, anyway. It's not Black Mesa, but it served us well enough.
It's going to be a lot more like Black Mesa with Gordon here to help.
Right you are. MIT graduates are few and far between these days. We'll get you out of that hazard suit and back into your lab coat where you belong.
Let me just finish up some work and I'll see what I can dig up. Dr. Freeman, it's been a real honor. I'm looking forward to working together.
Lead on, Freeman!
Hi everybody, my name is Mark Skaggs. I'm Vice President and Executive Producer on Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth. I want to welcome you to Inside the Battle Volume 3. Now last time we talked about the living world that we're adding to the game. We showed you the big map that showed all of Middle-earth, talked about the magic, showed you some of the locations that you go to. This time, we're going to focus down a bit. We're going to talk about individual units, the inhabitants of Middle-earth, and about their AI. When we talk about artificial intelligence in Battle for Middle-earth, what it really boils down to is the actions, the reactions, and the emotions of the inhabitants of the game world. One of the challenges we have in this game, as we're doing the artificial intelligence, is that our units are organic. And that's a lot different from previous games we've done, like Command & Conquer Generals. Let me give you specifics. So in Command & Conquer Generals, you have a tank, and it rolls up on a battlefield and it shoots a shell. It's pretty straightforward. The AI is very direct. Roll up, shoot the shell, there's your attack. But now when we go into a world like Battle for Middle-earth and the creatures are organic, and they have emotions and they move and they have to move right, it adds a whole new level of complexity. So for example, Riders of Rohan, as they ride up on the horses, it's not only getting them onto the battlefield and getting them close enough to attack, but the horses themselves have to react like you'd expect horses to do. So that's the level that we're taking the AI in the game to.
One of the things we're trying to do in the Battle for Middle-earth is add a lot of formation gameplay. And you can see from the films that formations are a very key component to how the armies of Middle-earth fight and move. And so one of the key things that you can do with your units is you can even just units off by themselves, a battalion of 10 soldiers already in a formation essentially by themselves by being a battalion. You can change them to be like a block formation or a wedge formation or a line formation, a variety of different formations. You can just toggle between these formations for this individual unit. And each formation has its own distinct strengths and weaknesses. So what we're looking at here is one of our new techniques for players to create combination formations in the middle of the battle to defeat their enemies. You can see some archers there shooting at this oncoming orc horde. And you can see these poor archers now are being hacked into stew by the orcs. So here comes some Tower Guard. This is an elite Gondor unit now that's going to come forward, and they're going to try to kill those orcs, but they've encountered this troll with this mighty club who's just going to tear them apart. Tower Guard, not very effective against the troll, but now we can see Gondor's got a new trick. They just made a combo formation there. They've got the archers in the middle, they've got the Tower Guard on the outside, and you see when the troll approaches, he gets mowed down by the archers. And now as the orcs approach and attempt to crush that formation, the Tower Guard breaks the formation and attacks, defeating their enemies. There's, of course, lots and lots of different combinations in the game. You can combine all kinds of different units together to create some kind of unique and custom formations that will really make a difference on your tactics and how the game plays. And we're kind of hoping the players will discover lots of new combination formations as they play through the game and really get a chance to experience some new gameplay as they discover these unique formations across the game.
Next thing I want to talk about is a specialty work we're doing with the Felbeast. You guys remember the flying dragon-like creatures from the films? So some of the challenges for us in this one is the height and scale of the world. You've seen Minas Tirith before and how high that is. It's like 20 times higher than anything we've done in any other games. So as we're moving the Felbeast through the environment, we've had to create a new 3D pathfinding system. This one tells it where to go, how to avoid the buildings, how to avoid trees, how to avoid other creatures flying in the air. Now, as we got that system working, we also had to not only work on where the creature was in the world, but also how it behaved and reacted. So for example, when the Felbeast wants to go up, it has to flap its wings faster. Or when it's going down, maybe it slows the flapping of its wings, or maybe just glides. Right, so those are some of the cool things that we're doing to make sure that the Felbeast is one of the greatest and funnest creatures in the game.
And this kind of ties in naturally as well to weapons on the battlefield. This is a new feature we're adding where players can find various weapons around the battlefield to sort of change their troops as they go into battle. So a troll, for instance, can tear up a tree by its roots and start smashing people with it. Now a troll with a tree, he's a little bit slower, he attacks a little bit more slowly, but he has a giant area effect weapon as opposed to an unarmed troll, which is a little bit faster, can sort of punch more different opponents more quickly. And so it's sort of up to the player, which kind of troll would I like to have right now? And of course, can I find a tree to do this with? And other things that trolls can do along this lines, and Ents as well, and we can see this in our video here, the Ents can tear rocks out of buildings and throw them at their enemies. This is a very powerful ability to change your Ent from what is fundamentally a very slow, very dangerous hand-to-hand combat unit into a very deadly, very tough, very long-range artillery unit. And Because this is a very different unit all of a sudden. If this ant is ripping rocks out of a tower, if he's tearing rocks up from the ground and throwing them at his enemies, this is a very different unit than the one you had a moment before. So you've got to kind of decide, how do I want to use this unit today? What's appropriate? And of course, more importantly, I guess, for weapons of the battlefield is, can I find the right weapon? Is a rock pile handy? Is a tower handy? Can I get a hold of a tree to use it as a club? And this sort of also ties into some of the units you'll be seeing. You saw with in our video here, we've got Theoden being picked up and dropped by the Nazgul. This is sort of a common Nazgul tactic. Just swoop down on the battlefield, grab some hapless soldier, fly up in the air, and then bomb him back onto the battlefield as a living weapon against his own friendly troops. Eagles will be able to do this kind of thing as well, and as you'll be able to see later, these kinds of flying troops will be able to attack buildings and knock debris down onto the troops below, perhaps wounding them or even killing them. So the direction that you make your attacks from will sort of determine the direction the damage is being come from. But of course, where the enemy archers are positioned may make a real difference about where you want to approach this city or this target from. And so sort of these, how the environment interacts, which have a real significant impact on the tactics and strategies that you'll face in the Battle for Middle-earth.
So there you go, everybody. That's Inside the Battle Volume 3. I want to thank everybody for watching. And I want to remind you also, don't forget to check out our E3 demo that we've released in the net. And I'll see you guys next time.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
We're going to show you the E3 demo of Brothers in Arms. My name is Randy Pitchford, and I am the president of Gearbox Software.
Hello, my name is Colonel John Antel, U.S. Army retired, and I'm the Chief of Staff of Gearbox, also the historian and military advisor. So my job is to make sure that the game is authentic as possible, as realistic as possible, and as much an experience of World War II paratrooper combat as you can possibly make.
Right, and my job is to make sure that the game is really, really fun. All right, here we go.
You really get to know a man if you have to watch him die. The moment right before he realizes it's over. That moment that his face reflects every decision he's ever made. And that split second, you know what kind of life he led. And if he regrets it.
All right, look at this. This is Normandy in 1944. This is what it actually looked like. Check it out. You can actually go here today in Normandy, France, to this very spot, and you can look out over the city of Carentan. And it looks different. It's been 60 years, but a lot of it's still the same. That church, for example, is still there, and it looks exactly like that today. It's amazing.
And this year is the 60th anniversary of D-Day, but if you go back there today and you look at this ground, you'll see that a lot of it hasn't changed. And the Gearbox team has spent a tremendous amount of time and energy to make this terrain and this battlefield the most authentic experience you'll find anywhere.
Yeah, I like to joke that if you memorize the game, you could go to Normandy and become a tour guide. Look at this guy.
Sarge, check this out. I picked up a BAR over at that crashed glider.
That's Private Zanovich. He has a Browning automatic rifle. That's a light machine gun that's going to be very important to your tactics of fire and movement.
Let me show you somebody else that's important. This guy, Lieutenant Colonel Cole. He's a real guy. Look him up on Google. Lieutenant Colonel Cole. This man's a hero. He's one of 2 men in the entire 101st Airborne in all of World War II that earned the highest honor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. And the other guy that earned that award in the 101st Airborne was also in this unit.
All right, Baker, this is how it's gotta be. You and your boys have to stop the Krauts from breaking through our line. You've gotta hold. No withdrawal. No one stops firing. If you run out of ammo, fix bayonets. Just don't let the Germans break through. Fight to the last, or the Krauts will flank us, and it's over.
Okay, I'm going to do that, but first I want to show you the assault team. Look at these guys.
Now, as we've said, Brothers in Arms is based on a true story, and these soldiers are true to life.
Hey, Sarge. How's it going?
This is Corporal Corian. Corian's your assault team leader. He has a Thompson submachine gun. He uses that machine gun, which is very good for rapid fire at close ranges, to close with and destroy the enemy.
Look at him. Look at his eyes. Look at his face. It's almost creepy.
You okay, Sarge?
All right. We spent a lot of time to try to create real people because as a squad leader, I make decisions that will affect their lives and their death, and those need to be important decisions. See, I've got my fire team over there and my assault team over there, and I'm their leader. I'm going to lead them. But first, you can see I've got a rifle in my hand, right? It's an action game. It's a first-person shooter, and I can fire this weapon by pulling the right trigger. Or with the mouse and keyboard, I press the left mouse button. I can also switch to another weapon, Thompson submachine gun. I can fire this weapon. I can switch between these two weapons, and I could swap them out for any weapon on the battlefield. It's kind of like Halo, and it's as easy to play. But I can do something in Brothers in Arms that I cannot do in Halo. I can lead my men. I can command them, and I do that very easily with the left trigger. I just hold the left trigger, or the right mouse button on the PC, and this appears. And this icon is a one-button, context-sensitive command system, and it allows me to lead my men. If I put it on the ground, my order is move to that position. If I put it on an enemy, my order is to attack the enemy, and I could lead my assault team and my fire team using this system. So I'm going to order my fire team, represented by that horizontal line, to move up. My fire team can fire on and suppress the enemy, to pin the enemy down with suppressive fire. That's why they're called the fire team.
Move up!
And the other team that I have is an assault team. It's represented with an arrow. My assault team is great for maneuvering on the enemy, for getting up close and killing the enemy, assaulting them. Fire and maneuver tactics are about suppression and assault. So my assault team is very important as well.
Now, these are authentic World War II tactics. The concept was to find the enemy, to fix him, to flank him, and then to finish him. Or as General Patton from World War II said, grab him by the nose, kick him in the ass.
That's what I'm going to do. Yep, use my assault team to kick him in the ass. Look at my men finding cover and using it. Okay, contact.
Contact, Germans.
Look at my men. They automatically engage. They automatically return fire. They have battle drills that they practice, standard operating procedures. That man's going to find a better firing position because he was out in the field there when it started. And then cover each other as some reload, the others fire, and suppress the enemy. See that icon there? That's a suppression icon. It can be toggled off. You can turn that off in the game, but it tells me what state of mind the enemy's in. Look, this guy's exposing himself. Got him.
Got him. Good shot.
Thank you. Looking really cool. This is called situational awareness view, and it lets me get an idea of what's going on, so that I can make decisions about how to approach this problem tactically. See, these guys here, they're terrified. They're hiding behind cover. They don't want to die, but they're going to try to use fire and maneuver tactics against me. This guy is going to lean around the corner and try to return fire. He's in a tough position right now because I've got 6 men, 7 men, including me, all pinning him down. So they're suppressed. So I need to fire and maneuver. Now, the reason we give you situational awareness view is because we needed to give you some information about the terrain. You see, when these soldiers prepared to go into battle, they had aerial reconnaissance images and maps and sand tables, and they knew the battlefield. They memorized the stuff and rehearsed their fights. And so they knew the terrain before going in. You're not going to memorize all that stuff, so we give you situational awareness view. And it's pretty amazing. We went to the National Archives and got these photos out. You see this wall here? I was actually there. I've seen it in the aerial reconnaissance photos. And in this crossroads, it's exactly how it was. To the yard, it's been recreated. Our guys have walked this area. And last time they were there, they met a French civilian, 70 years old. He was 10 when this battle took place. And he lived nearby and in a farmhouse, and he witnessed this fight that is taking place right now in the game. It's almost like a time machine. Anyway, I'm going to fire and maneuver on these guys. I'm going to go over to the left there, to the crossroads, take my assault team with me, and we're going to flank them from the left, and we're going to get them. I'm going to leave my fire team here to suppress them, and I'm going to take my assault team with me, Sergeant Matt Baker. My assault team is going to go to the left, and we're going to flank and destroy this enemy. Here we go. First move to cover. Alright, we're going to move along this wall to the flank. Don't step in that.
Notice how simple all that was. Randy doesn't have to tell the soldiers to do everything. They're fighting on their own.
Machine gun! MG-42!
Contact. Get him. Good shot. Good shot. You flanked him.
Oh, wait a minute. There's contacts over here. I got a problem.
Fire!
Oh shoot! Somebody's hit. Looks like there's a machine gun up in that house there. Okay, hold on. Let me check the right flank over here because I think I'm gonna have to get out of here and go back to that right. If I go out in the open and that machine gun opens up on us, it's gonna kill us.
Yeah, the Germans have shifted their defense, so you need to move to the right. Let's see if we can try to flank them the other way.
Let's see if we can get these guys.
You either brute force this or flank them. Can't flank them left now. Too much open ground. Good shot.
Throw a grenade over the wall. Gosh, that machine gun doesn't seem to spot me.
Behind that wall and pull this out. Oh, good shot.
That's a successful flank.
Good job.
Here comes some more. You know, I'm gonna have to abandon this flank and go the other way. That machine gun's opening up.
Yep.
Okay. Those guys spotted me now. I'm gonna pull back and move to the right because that machine gun's gonna tear us out. Assault team, come with me. I issued the fall-in command.
Okay, they're moving tactically like soldiers would.
Yeah, covering each other, using cover where they find it. My base of fire team is still suppressing that enemy, putting them down. Look, the Germans are maneuvering too. See that? They're using fire and maneuver tactics as well. I shifted to the right, so they're shifting to the right. We have a system we call situational AI, and it allows our designers to give the enemies commands in the same way that I'm giving the allies commands. It's neat stuff, and it allows the enemies to use fire and maneuver tactics against the player and his teams. All right, so this guy's dead. We're gonna cross the road here.
Okay, it's a danger area. Be careful.
I know, but we got to get across if we're going to flank him from the right. Better than flanking from the left.
Yeah, the machine gun can't get you from here, so you're probably better off.
Let they cover each other.
Go, go. Ooh. Brisky got hit.
Damn it! O'Brien's down!
Yeah.
He's hit!
Okay, that man was killed because I crossed a danger area, a kill zone, without properly suppressing the enemy first. But I've got a great flank on these guys now.
Okay, now use the flank to your advantage. Take him down.
Suppress those
Watch him taking fire.
He's trying to get cover from him.
So somebody's shooting you to the right.
Grenade, I will take care of him. He's trying to get out of there. Got him.
Good shot.
Thank you. Look, he's checking on his buddy over there.
He's dead, Sarge.
All right. Obreski didn't make it. He cares about his teammates, so he went and checked on him. I'm going to bring my assault team up, my fire team up, and we're going to make a move on this house. I'm going to end this.
U.S. Army
that's how the invasion starts.
Oh, you gotta love the Army Air Corps. 100-pound bombs. Look at that.
Ooh. Okay, I'm knocked off my feet. I'm not dead. Simulates concussion with motion blur and desaturation. I'm okay.
Yeah, and sometimes friendly fire is too close and not very friendly.
Oh, John. All right, I'm gonna make a move on this house. Bring my assault team up here to cover me.
Go! Go! Go!
Assault rifle.
Get this guy.
Reloading.
Get him. Good shot.
Not a good time to
get
reload.
Up against that wall already. You're gonna get killed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're dead.
I'm gonna bring up my assault team.
Give him some cover fire or grenades or something.
These guys are pinned right now.
Grenade them then.
Grenade. Fire in the hole.
Throw a grenade. We need you alive. Get him. He ran away. Good. Notice that German tried to run away from the grenade, but then he saw you and tried to shoot.
That is brutal. I love it. All right.
Take out that gun.
I could totally snipe him right here.
Do it.
No, I'm gonna tell my assault team to go get him.
Give him hell!
Always take the easy shot.
I want to see what happens. Oh, he heard him.
Close combat. They're in the assault.
Ooh.
I think they got him.
He got my guy.
Oh, damn. Oh, got both of them. Told you to take the easy shot.
That was stupid. I was just curious about what happened there. All right.
Tough going up a set of stairs.
I know. Let me get my fire team up here and
move out.
Let's see. Carentan is under naval bombardment. Looks like.
Yeah, well, your fire team's still full strength.
Who's shooting on Carentan right now, John?
Right now, you've got the USS Texas firing 16-inch naval shells there on the on a town of Carentan.
Look at that. That's awesome out there. Looks like they got an AA gun over there.
And other naval ships.
Oh, I'm coming. Counterattack. I'm gonna get on this machine gun right here. Okay, those guys are suppressed. Oh, more contacts. Got him.
We got him on the
Pulling
run!
back.
Good job.
That guy gave the hand signal to the fire team leader.
Okay, take these guys down the right.
They got him.
Oh. Okay, German tanks. You don't have any anti-tank weapons. Get out of there. Put some fire on that tank while you withdraw your squad.
Hold on, let me get my guys out of here.
Put fire on the tank while you withdraw your squad.
Oh, shoot.
Give them some cover fire. They're getting taken down.
Oh, God.
Take them down.
Oh, man. Oh, tanks are tough.
Yeah, and 2 tanks are tougher. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our new game, Brothers in Arms, and we're very proud of it. We think it's a very unique, authentic, and fun experience, and we hope that you enjoy it as much as we enjoy making it.
Thank you, John. I'll do better next time.
Cool.
Hua.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Hi, I'm Tim Letourneau. I'm the senior producer of Sims 2, and I really want to show you the game today. What I'm going to do first is show you a movie I made using the new Sims 2 movie making feature. Meet my sim Don. Well, that gives you an idea of how I've been playing Don across his lifetime. And that's the amazing new key feature in Sims 2 is that you play the Sims across a lifetime. And as a player, you're invested in fulfilling their lifelong dreams. What I want to do now is take you into the Baxter house. Some time has passed. Don and Sarah actually have a little boy now, Alex. And today is his birthday. Our new 3D engine allows all of this to come to life in vivid detail. Let's go check it out. This is the Baxter home that I built for him, and I'm going to kind of zoom in on Don here. And as you saw in the video, Don's kind of an amorous guy. Well, one of the things that's new to the gameplay in Sims 2 is that you play the Sims across a lifetime, and during that time, you're trying to fulfill their dreams. Don is a romance sim, so he's actually trying to he has wants that are related to romance. He wants things like to meet people, or he wants to try and achieve play-in with 10 Sims, or even here he wants to talk to Dina, who you might remember from the video. He also has fears, things that he's afraid of, things like being rejected or getting fat. As a player, you decide whether you're going to fulfill the Sims' wants or realize their fears. And as you do, it fills up this bar here, which is the aspiration bar. Success in filling up this bar actually unlocks rewards and special behaviors, with the ultimate goal being to increase the lifespan of the Sim by having aspirational success. It's also really important to point out that as you play your sim, you actually influence what wants and fears show up. So it's not just their aspiration, it's also the choices you've made as a player. Now I'm going to pop over to Sarah, and what's also important, as I said, you're playing the Sims through a lifetime. Genetics, genes, passing traits from one generation to the next is also a big part of the gameplay. I don't know if you can notice a little family resemblance here between Alex and Sarah, but I think the red hair kind of gives it away. Now I'm going to pop over and show you the rest of the party guests. Can you pick out the rest of Sarah's family? If you can't, you can always open up the family tree and actually see the entire Sims family. This gives you a sense of their genealogy, their lineage. And each Sim has their own family tree. Like if I click on Alex, you're going to see the tree from a completely different perspective. You now see his parents and his grandparents. Well, now I'm going to get the action started. And I'm going to pop over to Sarah. Now, I told you about Don being a romance sim. Well, Sarah is a family sim. Her aspiration is really very different. She wants things like she wants to see her sister get married. She wants to have another baby. She'd like to hug Alex. She also has a terrible fear, which is of being cheated on. Now, I'm going to go ahead and have her hug Alex because it's a really easy want for me to fulfill. And as she hugs him, you're going to see a couple things happen. You're going to see that the aspiration bar is shot up a little bit, but also you're going to see that the want has changed, which is she'd like to see Alex grow up. I've just sent her over to the birthday cake, and this is going to be Alex's party. Now the parents actually have to raise the children, so here I'm showing you Alex's aspiration, which is to grow up. All kids have that aspiration. He's done really well, so he's ready to grow up. So by giving him this birthday, we're fulfilling not only Sarah's want, but Alex's as well. Sims love birthday parties. Growing up is a big deal for the Sims. Now this is a big life moment for Alex, and the player is rewarded and told, hey, this is something to really pay attention to. Alex's want panel has changed as he's grown up. And that happens at each age transition. But I've done something for Sarah, and I've done something for Alex, and now I'm going to pop over and actually do something for Don. Now I said earlier that Don wanted to talk to Dina. I'm going to send him over and have him do that. They seem to be hitting it off. They like the same things. Not sure, he might be asking her on vacation. Now he's fulfilled that want, and now it changes and he actually wants to flirt with Dina. I'm going to go ahead and have him do that. It's really a player choice. There's some danger in it, but this is the way that I'm playing Don. I'm playing him to his aspiration. Now you can see a little swagger in his step. Well, that's because he's doing well in his aspirations. So he's actually unlocked the sexy walk. So he thinks he's feeling good about himself. Well, now he wants a kiss. So I've sent him over to sit down, and I'm going to have Dina come and sit down with him. Have them cuddle. And now for the big moment. Fortunately, they have a little privacy here. This would be rather awkward out in public. Uh-oh. Oh, this is not good. So Virginia's just busted in on them. Dawn obviously is oblivious, but she actually, because the Sims are smarter in Sims 2, she's aware of what's happened, and oh no. And she's a good sister, so she's telling her sister what she just saw. Oh man. So Sarah's now devastated. I'm going to see if I can fix this situation. I'm going to send Dawn out to apologize to her. Please forgive me. I've been a fool. Oh, good. That worked. Oh, Dina. Oh, Dina has just ruined everything. Sarah's just had one of her absolute worst fears realized, which is being cheated on. So she's now a basket case, and I've lost complete control of her. Virginia has just attacked Dina. At least she's a good sister. But that's the reality of Sims 2, is chaos can erupt at any moment. And this is just one tiny slice of an enormous game that would take me days to show you. But hopefully you get an idea of the kind of stuff that's going to happen in Sims 2, and you're going to be psyched to play it when it comes out September 17th.
This game has not yet been rated.
The world is appalled, Mr. Jerkin. And they want to know
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Is it ready yet?
Hey man, almost done.
How long?
Take it easy, man. Just about done. There. This baby is purring like a gherkin. You're gonna get all the ladies in this.
Whatever.
Hey, how you gonna pay for this?
How about I let you live?
Are you serious?
I'm always serious.
Ha! You're such a kidder. Ah!
They never listen.
Cruising on Cespa in my DeLorean. War's over, I'm a piece of Mandalorian. The story is stumped, Star Wars historians deep in debate, but they play at Benegans. Rhyme renegade, should I penetrate? First and second offense, I won't hesitate. Got a job to do, endorse the guy with delegates. Got something against Skywalker, someone he really hates. I don't give a. I'm after Solo, for all I carry. Could be hiding at Yoda's dojo. Gotta make the money, credit's no good when a Jawa's running shop in your neighborhood. Think you can cook? I got a grappling hook. Let's make this quick, cause I'm really booked. I'm a devious degenerate defender of the devil. Shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level. My backpacks got jets. Well, I'm Boba, the Fett. Well, I bounty hunt for Java Hut to finance my vet. Well, I chill in deep space. A mask is over my face. Well, I deliver the pride, Boston there on my eyes. Cause my time I don't like to waste. Get down! I'm a question, rap inside Enigma. Get inside a slave one, find your home and signal. From Endor to Heart, Ripley to Spock. I'll find what you want, but there's gonna be a cost. Say my name is Boba Fett, I know my tricks tight. Not acting right, yo, frozen a carbonite. Got telescopic sight, flamethrowers on my wrist. You still don't get the gist, spike boots are made to kick. Targets are made to hit. You think I give it? Your mama is a bitch. I see you in the Sarlacc pit. You just flip my switch, integrity's been dead. You scratching on my itch. You know I shoot the gift. Got Pabina Secatinas way to lick my nasty lips. So I'll let you get back inside your little spaceship. Give you a head start, cause I'm a sporting con. Consider the starting line and sneaky smile, hide inside. Hope you have hyper drive. Pray to stay alive. Don't try to slip me five, cause I never take a bribe. To the beat of a different drama. Baddest funny how to let no man put us under, or else they be put under as in 6 feet. Got an Imperial fleet backing me up. Gonna blow up any attempt to defeat. They got a Death Star. Got full payments on my car. Handed over to Hammerhead. At most I see bar. Used to carjack. He's a bar back. Just goes to show how you can get back on the right track. As for me, that's not an option. Can't say that with more clarity. Me going legit would be like Jar Jar in speech therapy. My backpacks got jets. Well, I'm Boba, the Fett. Well, I bounty hunt for Java Hut to finance my vet. Well, I chill in deep space. A mask is over my face. Well, I deliver the pride, but I still narrow my eyes. Cause my time I don't like to waste. Open like a tauntaun, faster than an Autobahn. Or a motorbike and trying to do the deed, I'm then I'm gone. Jabba has a hissy fit, contact currency in. Overcoat the plan on frozen politic, it's legit. Back in the day when I was a slave, living life in the fast lane, like in a pod race. Mean streak tweak, that became a best case. So the space age, put that place post haze. Took over number cars, caught a Clone Wars. Cause life's not all about girls and cars. Getting been bossy, I'm not a retard. Or getting like the barge, I'm large and in charge with a face so scarred. A cold black heart that's been torn apart. The Sith wish that they had it so hard. Cause it's long ago when the far call me master. Cause I'm faster to pry on far. I no longer have to hot wire. I'm a hunter for hire with no plans to retire. And all the sucker MCs can't call me star. My backpacks got jets. Well, I'm Boba, the Fett. Well, I bounty hunt for Java Hut to finance my vet. Well, I chill in deep space. A mask is over my face. Well, I deliver the pride, but I still narrow my eyes. Cause my time I don't like to waste. Get down!
future.
Hi, I'm Jay Wilson with Relic Entertainment. I'm the lead designer on Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War, and today with Chris Degnan, one of our other designers, we're going to be showing you a little bit of the game. It's the 41st millennium, and the Empire of Man stretches across over 1 million worlds. It's an incredibly harsh and brutal universe filled with aliens, demons, the worst kind of nightmares you can imagine. What we wanted to capture in Dawn of War was worlds torn apart by just constant war, where whole planets are just ripped to pieces. So that's what our environments are really focused on, a very war-torn, ragged environment. And what stands between us and all that is unholy? The mighty Space Marine. Incredibly elite. They're not grunts, they're not peons, they're not, sir, yes, sir, Marines, but they're holy warriors on crusade. Incredibly elite, incredibly well-trained, easily a match for any of mankind's foes, even the barbaric orc. Welcome to Inside the Battle, Volume 4. My name is Dustin Browder. I'm the Game Design Director on Lord of the Rings, The Battle for Middle-earth. Today we're going to talk to you about our new base building strategy and resource gathering systems that we've got in place that will really affect the way you play our next real-time strategy.
This is Inside the Battle.
So we've got a brand new system of building bases. One of the things that EA has really encouraged us to do in this product is to innovate, and try to create a brand new experience in real-time strategy games. And one of our goals overall is to try to remove a lot of the micromanagement that players have in real-time strategy games now. So they spend more of their time focused on high-level strategy and less on their time on finding individual units or on trying to click really fast in order to beat and defeat their enemies. So one of the things that we've done, as you can see here, is we've got these plots that are inside your castle and they're outside your castle. You can just click on these plots, and almost immediately you can see the options for what you want to build there comes up almost right underneath your mouse. And you can just move your mouse just a tiny bit to decide what it is you want to build in this plot. And this makes these plots extremely easy to use. You don't need to go find a dozer. You don't need to go find a peon or some other character to build your base. You can just click on your base and upgrade it in however way that you want to upgrade your base. The ease of use factor is not just for the casual players who are becoming to real-time strategy for the first time because they love Battle for Middle-earth. The ease of use is really powerful for us because as a serious hardcore RTS player, you're going to have lots and lots of things to do out on the field of battle. You're going to have perhaps hundreds of soldiers. You may have half a dozen heroes that you have to manage and control, and each one of these heroes has 3 or 4 different powers that can be fired at different times at the appropriate moment or at the not appropriate moment. So you've got a lot going on out in the field that you need to concentrate on and not be concentrated so much on exactly where you're going to put each building and what's going to happen with each building. You need to be able to go out and deal with the strategic problems that are happening on the field of battle. The other thing we're trying to add to base building in the Battle for Middle-earth, you can see here, is we're adding building veterancy. This is a concept that as your building is used, it gains veterancy and becomes more powerful. A second level barracks might be able to build additional troops that a level 1 barracks could never build. A second level barracks might build those same additional troops more cheaply than level 1 barracks has ever had before. So as the player uses these barracks, they gain experience points and go up in levels. So you as a player have to make choices early on about the kinds of units you want to have later in the game. And these will affect your strategies early in the game. This building veterancy is also a very powerful tool for strategy for us because it means that some of your buildings are much more important than they ever were before. So in our previous Command & Conquer games, if you built a barracks, say, for a couple of $100 and somebody blew it up, hey, no biggie. I'll just plunk down another couple $100 and I'll build another barracks and it's all just good to go. But in our game now, in Battle for Middle-earth, if you build a barracks and you've built, 50, 60 soldiers out of that barracks, and that barracks is now a level 2 or level 3 barracks, and it now has access to different troops that otherwise you can't get, and somebody wants to come in and blow that barracks up. This is a real loss. You can't just buy it back. You have to earn it back, which means that the difficult decision of does this barracks live inside your castle or does this barracks live outside your castle has a really significant impact on your play experience. So what we have is a number of different ways for players to gather resources in our game, and each of these ways has a really significant effect on the kinds of troops the player can really afford to build. Now all of these resources are gathered in different ways. This resource you gather by killing enemy troops or by finding monsters, maybe goblins or trolls or just wargs that are loose on the map and killing them. To gather this resource, you probably want some very powerful heroes or at least some very tough troops to go out there and deal with those guys. If you want to gather this resource as your primary form of resource, and it can be very lucrative to do, you need to sort of invest early in your troops, and maybe not invest so much in the other 3 possible resources. You can also invest in steel. Now, if you build a blacksmith, as you can see here, or if you build a forge, this building will start creating steel for your site, which goes into your generic resource pool, but it has a real impact on the kinds of forces you can build because each steel mill, each forge, each blacksmith reduces the cost of upgrades and certain troop types. So if you have, say, 4 forges, all of your upgrades are 4 times more cheap than they would be ordinarily if you didn't have these forges. You can also invest in food, which you get from farms or from slaughterhouses. You build these things inside your base, much as you would build a forge or blacksmith. But these, again, if you have 3 or 4, you get a cumulative bonus for your farms for the kinds of troops that you can build. So for instance, if I am a Gondor player and I've chosen to build 4 farms, I might have as much as 40 or 50% off all of my infantry costs. And this means I'm an infantry player. I'm going to build a lot of archers, I'm going to build a lot of soldiers, I'm going to try to beat you with those. On the other hand, if I'm that same Gondor player, but instead I've chosen to build 4 blacksmiths, now I have a huge bonus on siege weapons, I have a huge bonus on building various upgrades, and so I will probably have a much smaller, much more dangerous force than the player who chose to build nothing but farms. And the final kind of resource that's only really available to the villains in the game, only available to the forces of Isengard and Mordor, is of course the lumber mills, which they can use to chop down trees. And lumber mills are kind of a big wins, big loss investment for the bad guys. But of course the lumber mills are far from your base. They're far from any safe haven. They have no proper defenses, and they're completely exposed to enemy attack. And so the evil player has to kind of decide when's the appropriate moment to go for lumber. When am I going to be able to do this without just getting my lumber mill blown up and all my guys killed? And what can I really protect? And of course with knights and eagles and Rohirrim and these heroes just running around everywhere, you never really know exactly when that moment is. And so the Mordor player has to make a really careful really calculated strategic decision as to when the right moment for him is to expand into the lumber market and to begin cutting down trees and to use that as a kind of resource.
Power of the Enemy is coming this November.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Hi everyone, welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I'm Thane Lyman, the executive producer for the project, and today I'll be taking you through character creation and experience point gain, and show you how feats work in the game as well as get into some of the dialogues. So at the heart of every great RPG is the player's character, choosing, building, and growing your character through the course of the game. So we'll start with character creation. First step in the character creation process is choosing a clan and gender, and optionally a history. In White Wolf's vampire universe, the clans correspond to the traditional archetypes of vampire mythology. So our 7 clan choices include the Bruja, savage brawler, the Gangrel, or feral and animalistic, the Nosferatu, skulking and deformed, the Toreador, or the Anne Rice-style seductive and charming pretty boys, the secretive blood sorcerers known as the Tremere, the manipulative and mind-controlling Ventru, and finally the Malkavians, who have been driven insane by the power of their vampire blood. To reflect this insanity, the Malkavians even have their own distinct set of dialogues and dialogue responses. We'll show you those in a later demo. The vampire choice of clan has a deep impact in Vampire, from statistical benefits and weaknesses to vampiric powers or disciplines available to the player, to in-game effects such as different dialogue options and different reactions from NPCs in the game. The player can also choose to play either as male or female, giving them 14 base choices to start from. That's even before allocating experience points or base starting skills. Though there's no statistical difference between male or female, gender will have impact in-game in terms of dialogues and NPC reactions. There are also a number of histories to choose from to allow you to further customize your character if you wish. Some are clan-specific, and others are options across clans. So there's a lot of replayability and variety in the game just based on character selection. For the purposes of this demo, we're going to focus most of our attention on one character, so you can see the RPG experience of being and leveling up an individual character. For now, we're going to play as the Blood Sorcerer Tremere. Having selected our clan and gender, the next step is to allocate our stats. This is the character stat sheet, which White Wolf fans will see we've pulled pretty faithfully from the paper and pencil Vampire the Masquerade RPG system. While we'll have a default template for each clan, so players aren't required to do all of this themselves, more advanced RPG players can choose to change their initial stat allocation to suit their tastes within the game rules. In keeping with the White Wolf rules, different clans get more or less starting points in 3 sets of attributes: physical, social, and mental attributes, and 3 sets of abilities, divided into talents, skills, and knowledges. As a Tremere, we get a lot of points in mental and few in social for attributes, and a lot in knowledges, but very few in skills for abilities. So as you can see from looking at the feats column on the right, our Tremere is good at hacking and melee combat, but not as good at shooting firearms, which is ranged combat, or at lockpicking. Lastly, the Tremere has 3 disciplines available: Auspex, which is Vampiric Supersight, Dominate, which is the ability to bend mortals to your will, and Thaumaturgy, which is blood sorcery. Now lastly, we'll need a name for our Tremere. I'd like to go with something that conveys our true majesty and power, something that reminds me of just how far removed I am from the rest of humanity now. We'll go with Bob. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Bob the Tremere. Alright, now we'll hit accept for Bob, and we'll move into the world. At the beginning of the game, you play as a newly sired fledgling vampire who's been given a task by the Vampire Prince of Los Angeles. As you progress through the game, you'll run into several different opposing factions, and be able to make your own choices about which ones you want to ally yourself with or betray. And down the road, these actions will help determine which of the multiple game endings you experience. But for now, the Prince has given you a simple ultimatum of doing his bidding or being baked in the sun. In RPG terms, he's given us a quest. And in traditional RPG manner, we've given the player a quest log system to keep track of this and any other quests they receive. This is the quest log. As we see, the Prince has told us we have to take care of a Sabbat threat. That's a group of vampires opposed to the Prince's rule of the city. He's also told us to track down somebody named Venus to get info on the threat. She's at a club in downtown LA. And we found out that she may have more info on it in her computer, and that she may not want to give us all the information herself. So here we are in downtown Los Angeles, one of our 4 hubs in the game. This is the first look anyone's had at the Los Angeles hub. And if you saw it at E3 last year, you'd seen the Hollywood hub. Los Angeles is another example of the cool visuals we're able to pack onto the screen using Valve's Source technology. We're able to create a city full of skyscrapers and compete on a visual quality standpoint with any games out there, so we're able to take RPGs out of their traditional graphical limitations. You can see we're headed into Confession. This is a nightclub in a converted church where the Prince had told us we could find Venus, and probably her computer. I'm guessing we might find her computer in the front office area. So let's try to lockpick this door, which we can do by pressing one context-sensitive use key. Well, no dice. Doesn't look like Bob's lockpick skill is up to the task. We'll have to come back to this. Maybe we can find a key somewhere, convince somebody to let us in, or put some experience into the skill when we get some experience. For now, let's go see if we can find and talk to Venus.
Hello, love. You don't look like the regular sort of clientele we get here at Club Confession, although I'm pretty sure that you've got plenty of sins to confess. Your kind is never without its share of dirty, dark little secrets.
One of the things that Troika is very well known for is their great dialogue system. Provide a deep RPG dialogue with lots of different possible responses, and a dialogue system that responds to you and who you are. Now I've got a number of options to choose from here with Venus, but for now I'm going to be pretty direct because I need my information. So we'll choose the first option.
You are direct, aren't you? A boy after my own heart. Or various other parts of my body. Unfortunately, my, benefactor isn't exactly tolerant of loose lips, so for now at least, I must keep mine closed.
At the second dialogue screen, there's a line in blue. This shows us a persuasion line. This is one of the feats that we can use in dialogues. As my persuasion skill is high enough, I've got the ability to say something different to Venus that I wouldn't otherwise have.
Oh, well, he does seem to know just about everyone in LA, undead or not. I suppose you and I can have a little chat, but this is just between us, understand?
Of course, Venus.
I don't know much, but I have heard people talking about a problem with unsavory sorts crawling around in the sewers beneath downtown. A A few of my master's acquaintances went down to investigate and didn't come home to feed the cat.
The indicators that popped up during the conversation have just let me know that my quest log has been updated and that I've gained some experience. We'll talk about that in a minute. For now, it sounds like these guys might be pretty tough, so I'm going to ask Venus if she knows how to find some weaponry to help me out.
The man you want to find is Fat Larry. He's usually in some back alley or another, working out of the back of his truck. He's a bloody riot, and he's got the sort of toys you have in mind.
Great, we'll go and talk to the man.
You do that, darling. And please, for my sake, let's not let it get out that Venus has a problem keeping her secrets, all right? I don't particularly want to wake up dead. At least not yet.
Now here I've got a number of choices. I could be mean to Venus and maybe try to blackmail her, but I may want to get information out of her later on as well, so for the time being I'm going to be nice to her.
No problem, love. If you need anything else, I'll be here amongst the shadows, worshipping with the rest of the Midnight Tribe. Take care.
So back to those indicators that had popped up during the conversation. We've gained some experience, and this will give us a chance to show off another aspect of the traditional RPG underlying the action, which is leveling up the character. You'll see the quest log update and experience gain indicator come up a number of times in the demo. We award experience for progressing along quests, rather than for combat, so the game really allows you to play how you want. It's not always go stealthy and then go back and kill everybody anyway for the XP. Here's my experience available, down in the right hand corner. I think we'll pop some of this experience into our lockpicking feat. If we flash over the lockpicking feat, we see that our dexterity and security, which are highlighted, make up lockpicking. We'll pump up our security. Alright, now let's go see if that's enough to get in that door from earlier. Success! And there's the computer. Now this will give us a chance to show off our elite hacksaw skills. You'll remember we made Bob pretty good at hacking. When we use the computer, the text at the bottom of the screen tells us to hit Control-C if we want to hack it, so we'll do that now. So we've gained access to her files, and gained some more experience and completed a quest. Now reading some of these files, we can see that the Sabbat have taken over an old Chinese theater and have placed a gargoyle to guard it. And also that the gargoyle seems to be nearly impervious to firearms. So we're probably going to have to find a blunt weapon. Well, there's going to be more than we bargained for in this Sabbat encounter, given that there's a gargoyle around. If we're going to fight him, he's going to be tough. So we'd better go see if we can track down some weapons and better armor than this swank red shirt that I've got on. This concludes part 1 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo. Now in part 1, Venus told us that there was a weapons dealer named Fat Larry off in an alley somewhere. This looks like an alley, and that guy looks fat. Let's give him a try.
Player, what's the score? How they hang? Good evening and all that commotion. Welcome to Fat Larry's Trucker Mac, the only store for all your needs after 10 o'clock. I am the proprietor and salesman of the month several years in a row. The ladies call me, oh God, but you can call me Fat Larry with a F-A-T, cause I know I got a weight problem, I just don't give a
Well, Larry, you sell counterfeit basketball jerseys or something?
Counterfeit? Man, I look like one of those peanut-headed rock-smoking brothers selling SHACK shirts they made at their mama's house. I'm the real deal OG man in the alley with what you need. Counterfeit. Man, why you gotta be like that?
Put your money where your mouth is and show me what you got, fat boy.
Nah, that's what I like to hear. But it's like this. I save my best stuff for select clientele. Now that don't mean I don't appreciate your business. It's just, you know, business.
Show me the merchandise. This gets us into our barter screen. We've got some armor available, so we'll purchase that. And we know we need a blunt weapon to defeat the gargoyle coming up. Sledgehammer looks pretty blunt. And while we're at it, let's pick up a firearm and maybe some ammo. We've mentioned that the dialogue system is very responsive to who you are and the character that you play. For an example of that, we're going to show this dialogue as a different character, as a Malkavian female, and see how Fat Larry responds to her.
Baby girl, I saw you coming from down the street and I started praying to the Lord to find it in his heart to send you to me, and hallelujah if he didn't come through for me. Welcome to Fat Larry's Trucker Mag. I am the proprietor and salesman of the month several years in a row. The ladies call me, oh God, but you can call me Fat Larry with a F-A-T, cause there's more of me to love.
The Malkavians are insane. Of course, they would say that they are blessed with insight. And so, the font is particularly different, and the manner of speech for the Malkavians is very different as well. So we'll ask Larry, are you a merchant of the ill-gotten, illegal, and inferior?
Oh man, you been feeding on the rock, girl? Nah, baby, I don't sell none of that no more. You got some crazy eyes on you. Believe me, I don't have to see the freeze-dried ice cream to know a space cadet when I see one.
But I have so many loot cakes to fatten you.
Hey, so you like to pipe. Didn't say I wouldn't sell you nothing. Chill. Peep this gear I got.
Well, I feel like a stone in a center store, which is Malkavian speak for let's do some shopping. So you can see that the dialogues respond very differently depending on who you are and which clan you are. Dialogues will also change depending on actions that you've taken in the game and people that you've chosen to ally yourself with or anger. Now we'll go back to the Tremere story. Back to Bob. We've picked up some new weapons and some new armor. Each clan and gender has its own unique armors in-game, so there's no need for everybody to strap on the same old chainmail. We'll change our armor using the simple inventory system. Alright, looking good, Bob. Bob's ready to rumble. And he needs to head into the sewers, in our brand new duds. We'd better feed first though, since we're a little low on blood. We can't just feed out in public. Humans would freak out, and they might call cops, or worse yet, vampire hunters might hear about it and show up. We'd also be upsetting our fellow vampires and the prince, who really don't like fledgling vampires breaking the masquerade and letting humanity know we really exist. So we'll use our vampiric discipline of Auspex to see if we can track down an out-of-the-way snack. Auspex basically gives us vampire super sight. Like all of our disciplines, it uses a little bit of blood, but in exchange, with this one we get to see better in the darkness, and we also get to see auras, including through walls, or in this case, truckomats. We've got Auspex at level 3 right now. The higher levels, the brighter the boost gets, and the greater range we can see the auras. Here's an isolated subject. So let's see if she'll be our lunch. Bob's pretty well juiced up now. We didn't drain her dry, because killing her would lower our humanity and make us more susceptible to lose control and frenzy at the smell of blood. The feed is pretty overwhelming to humans, so once she comes out of that daze, she won't remember it anyway. Our blood meter is now pretty full, Bob's doing very well, and so it's on to the sewers. And we'll pick up the sewers in part 3 of our demo, but this concludes part 2. Hi, welcome back to part 3 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo. In part 3 we're going to show off combat using the Tremere clan, combining disciplines and weapons for maximum effect. The sewers is where we were told we could find the group of enemy vampires, the Sabbat, that the prince wants us to eliminate. One of the Sabbat clans is called the Tzimisce. They're a group of enemy vampires who like to turn flesh into other forms, human flesh. They call it the art of flesh crafting. In addition to vampires, we're likely to run into several of those down here as well. Now we've just used a level 2 Thaumaturgy attack. Blood Purge. It causes human victims to cough up blood. These guys are supernatural, so the effect on them is a bit different, but it did stun them for long enough that we could take them out even though our firearm skill isn't that great. You can see that our firearm skill affects how quickly the reticle changes its size, and the maximum size that it changes to. The higher our firearm skill, the higher our accuracy. But with disciplines, we can overcome even our character's weaknesses. Well, this guy looks a little bit bigger, tougher than the last one. And he's just slowed our Bob Tremere with that old green attack. So we're going to use a level 5 Thaumaturgy attack, Blood Boil. This is the highest possible discipline level, so it's pretty brutal, and also consumes a fair amount of blood. Well, now we're a little low on blood again. Ooh. Fortunately, it looks like a bum has had bad sense to take up residence in an area with Tzimisce creations and little old us running around. Time for another pit stop. The bums don't tend to have as much usable blood, but at least it's a snack. Again, we drain him without killing him because we don't want to kill innocents, and we'll continue on through the sewers and on to our next destination. That concludes part 3 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo. Hi, welcome to part 4 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo. This time we're going to show off vampire on vampire combat using the Brujah clan. We've now located the Sabbat that we've been sent to kill by the prince. You can see that though our firearm skill was pretty useful against the other guys, our firearms are not much good against the Sabbat vampires who have celerity themselves. They're able to dodge the bullets. They're not the only ones who can do that though. We use celerity ourselves. Celerity is basically Vampire super speed, and now that gives us the ability to dodge bullets as well. So we're going to try a different strategy. Firearms is not really going to be useful for this fight. And we'll also turn on Potence, which is Vampiric super strength. There, that worked much better. So again, in traditional RPG fashion, combat and other problems aren't a one-size-fits-all approach. For example, we can use our environment to take out our enemies as well. The fact that we've incorporated shooter-style combat doesn't mean we've only adopted shooter-style solutions. Players are going to have to rely on a number of different skills and methods to solving problems, which is part of what makes RPGs fun. Now that these guys are dust, it's going to be time to take out the Gargoyle, who sounds like a real toughie. We'll get into that fight with Part 5, but for now this concludes Part 4 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo. Hi, welcome back to Part 5 of our Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines demo. In Part 5 we're going to explore multiple solutions to problems and combat with a supernatural opponent. You'll also see the physics engine used in the game to great effect. Now we're in the abandoned Chinese theater where we've been told the gargoyle that we have to deal with is
enter my domain, my place of solitude. I will smash you, crush you, tear the flesh from your bones.
Now we're playing as a Bruja, and we're not a very persuasive one at that. So we're going to try to see if we can talk the gargoyle down, but I doubt we're going to have much success. But we'll try. And we'll ask him, we'll say, wait, I'm not here to fight you. My battle's with the Sabbat.
Then your battle is with me, for I have made an alliance with the Sabbat. In return, they leave me in peace, and I fight for them when it is necessary.
Well, it looks like this probably isn't going to be very successful, so I guess that means it's go time, Ugly. We've been told previously that firearms aren't likely to be very useful against the gargoyle as he's made of stone. And it looks like that's true. We can hide up here on our perch, but we're just not doing much damage. And it looks like through good use of the in-game physics system that the Source engine is so well known for, the gargoyle's gonna make it pretty difficult for us to do anything as well. It's a good thing we brought the sledgehammer along. He's tough, but as a vampire we're pretty tough too. We'll move into a different area where we've got a little bit more room to maneuver. Now we're doing a little damage. That hurt him. Let's apply Potence to the mix as well. And he goes down fairly quickly. Still, if we hadn't been in God mode, those pillars and balconies coming down on our heads might have hurt. We've given physics a role in the game by augmenting the environment and allowing items in the environment to be both real hazards and potentially useful items for the player. Well, that's one way to take out the gargoyle, but it was pretty brutal, and I can't imagine how that would have worked out for a guy like, say, our Tremere from previous demos, who isn't quite the combat machine that our Brujah is. So just for grins, we're going to go a different route and see how the Tremere would have handled the gargoyle.
Who dares enter my domain, my place of solitude? I will smash you, crush you, tear the flesh from your bones.
Since our Tremere is a little bit more persuasive than our Brujah was, we'll take a shot at it again and tell him, wait, I'm not here to fight you. My battle's with the Sabbat.
Then your battle is with me, for I have made an alliance with the Sabbat. In return, they leave me in peace, and I fight for them when it is necessary.
Now this time we've been given a blue persuasion line, as we are more persuasive, so we've got a better chance of succeeding here. And we'll give that a try. Say, your alliance can be nothing but temporary. The Sabbat will betray you.
How do you know this?
Now we've got 4 possible options here. Just because our persuasion line got our foot in the door, that doesn't mean we automatically persuade the gargoyle, so it's still up to us to choose the right option if any of them are going to ultimately persuade him to leave us alone. This guy's a fairly simple guy, so let's try some fairly simple logic and just tell him the first option. They're black-hearted and evil like those who created you.
I believe your words, kindred. I will leave you to your mission and speak no more with the Sabbat. Now, leave me. I prefer the silence of my solitude.
Well, that's much better than getting our butt kicked by a big stone gargoyle. Glad to hear it. See ya. So there you have it. Again, a hallmark of a good RPG is the ability to solve problems in a variety of different ways. If the Brujah's social skills had been up to the challenge, he could have talked his way out, but it might have been tougher for him to get through the Sabbat vampires if he hadn't put so much experience into his disciplines and brawling combat skills. Between all of the player's choices in the game, clan and character selection, spending experience, what quests you undertake and how you solve them, your dialogue choices and who you ally with or betray, and which are the number of possible endings you experience as a result, you'll have a lot of replayability here. That concludes Part 5, our last part of Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines demo. We hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
riveting and engrossing, says GameSpy. Top 10 games of 2004, states PC Gamer. The most authentic military gaming experience. A quantum leap forward in battlefield simulation, states Game Informer. The greatest commanders don't just lead their men to victory, they lead them home. Full Spectrum Warrior.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Back in St. Louis. Played on the same baseball team and even dated the same broad. Hey, Sarge. Didn't see you standing there.
We'll get the crowds today, Sarge. I promise.
players have played the game primarily through a bottom bar at the very bottom of the screen. This is the interface the players have kind of become accustomed to using as they navigate their way through various battles, whether it be with tanks or with orcs or all kinds of creatures in real-time strategy games. And one of the things we've noticed with watching players play this over the years is this has really kind of become a hindrance to them in a lot of different ways. Players now are kind of routinely focusing down on this bottom bar. They're not looking at the screen, they're not watching the troops and seeing what they're doing, they're trying to play the game exclusively through this bottom bar. So one of the things we're trying to do with the interface is bring all of the elements that the players will want to click on as close together as possible so that he can easily move his mouse and click very quickly from one place to another without having to scroll way up to the top of the screen or way down to the bottom of the screen. Most players tend to keep their mouse towards the center of the screen. And this sort of allows them to move their troops and interact with their troops. So we're trying to do as many controls as we can towards the center of the screen. And all of our interfaces sort of focus on this, trying to keep players' mouse movement to an absolute minimum. This is very helpful for the more casual players getting into the game, and of course, for the more serious, more hardcore RTS players, this makes everything much faster for them, and they're spending less of their time fighting the interface and more of their time concentrating on how they want to defeat their enemies.
The idea for the Palantir comes out of that crystal ball that Saruman uses and communicates with Sauron. So what we were trying to do was come up with something that was kind of evocative of that shape and that magic from the movie, but still worked for the game. The next challenge was where to put that, how to get away from the traditional command bar along the bottom of the screen. So that took some time. A longer challenge was coming up with the rest of the interface, what we call the shell. We went through a lot of different concepts, some of which were metalwork that tied back to the Palantir GUI. Some of them were other things like parchment, which is used a lot in the film and in the DVDs from the film. We looked at a lot of different themes like that for the interface and eventually arrived at what we have now.
So here we are at the Battle of the Black Gate. You see the hordes of orcs streaming out of the Black Gate to come attack our forces here, the forces of Gondor and Rohan, who are amassed out on the field of battle. You can see this Palantir is extremely small. It's much smaller than any interface, any RTS we've ever done before. And the reason for this, of course, is you've got these very large armies that you're controlling, these big battles that you're fighting in all the time. You need as much space as humanly possible in order to see your troops and command your troops on the field of battle. We've got the resources here in the lower left-hand corner. This is how much resources the player has to build troops, to build new equipment, to build defenses for his castle. We've also got the number of command points the player currently has. This is how many troops I have on the battlefield right now. And the player can earn additional command points by conquering more territories in Middle-earth. I've also got the resource multiplier, which is a multiplier that affects all the resources the player gets. As I conquer more territories in the Battle for Middle-earth, I get more resource multiplier, which gives me additional resources to build more castles, to build more troops, to revive my heroes if they've fallen in battle, anything I want to use those resources for. To help the player navigate in the Battle for Middle-earth, one thing we've done is change the Palantir map. You can see we've got this battle map over here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, and what this does is allow you to jump to any part of the battlefield you want to control your troops or control your armies. Now, we've had these in real-time strategy games for some time, of course. The difference in the Battle for Middle-earth is this battle map is no longer showing every little hill, every little bump, and every little tree on the map. And what this allows us to do is easily see our troops. So you can see I can easily see these Nazgul, these little red dots, as these Nazgul fly in towards my base, because I'm not distracted by all the little trees and all the little hills that don't really matter to my battle. Here we are in Lothlorien. You can see we've got our Fellowship here running from Moria goblins that are chasing them. We've got a bunch of new interface elements to control our heroes in the Battle for Middle-earth. You can see that down here along the bottom we have all of our heroes listed out. You can see what their current level is, and you can see how much health they currently have.
They shall win. Always be running.
You can even select these heroes by clicking on them once, or if I'm very far from the hero, I can double-click on the hero, and it'll take me back to the hero immediately. This makes finding your heroes in large battles extremely easy, And of course, since there's often large numbers of troops in a battle for Middle-earth, it's very important to be able to find your heroes as quickly and as easily as possible. The buttons along the outside here are just about as close to the characters as we can possibly get them. So it's very easy to simply select a character and with a very small amount of mouse movement, come over here and have that character use one of his special abilities. You can see Boromir here has just blown the Horn of Gondor. See Gandalf just blasted those goblins away. So one of sort of the motivating factors for us in designing a whole new interface was the realization that players were simply not going to be able to manage the huge amount of control and the huge amount of troops that they had without a better interface, without a more improved interface, without an interface that would really, really let them take control of all of the armies and all of the heroes and all of the matches.
EA Games. Challenge everything. I wanna take you on a road.
Welcome to the video tutorials for Action Unreal Tournament. These guides are designed to introduce both new players and long-time action fans to all the features of Action Unreal Tournament. In Action Unreal Tournament, there are 4 main body areas where a player can be hit. There are the legs, the chest, the arms and the head. Each location has a varying degree of damage each time it is shot, and the results of being hit in them differs. We shall begin with the legs. When the player is shot in the legs, limited health is taken off. However, the player will now walk slowly and be unable to jump until they bandage. Remember that falling from a great height will damage your legs and cause the same effects. When you are shot and not killed, you will bleed. Bleeding steadily reduces your health until you die. The way to stop bleeding is to bandage. When you are bandaging, your gun is unavailable. Bandaging takes a few seconds to complete and completely stop the loss of health. For the first seconds you will still bleed, so make sure you have enough health and cover to complete the bandaging process. When being shot in the chest and legs, the player will only lose health and feel no other side effects, except perhaps death. The area of the body you should always try to hit is the head. In most cases, a shot to the head is deadly or delivers a lot of damage. You will know when you have made a headshot or have been hit in the head because you will hear the classic action headshot noise. Always try to avoid being shot in the head.
Rated RP.
My name is Christian Allen. I'm a game designer at Red Storm Entertainment, and this is Ghost Recon 2.
Ghost, this is Command. Move out. Roger that.
On me!
First thing you're going to notice about Ghost Recon 2 is the over-the-shoulder view. What we've done is we looked at some different innovative ways to add immersion to the player, and we ended up pulling the camera back a little bit from the character. So you can see him interact with the world, give hand signals.
Move out!
Our environments are heavily detailed. We've got environmental effects, we've got the dynamic grass system throughout the level.
Place a demo charge at the base of the bridge to take it out.
Flank left! Roger that!
Ghost Recon 2 is a team-based game, and your team has to be there backing you up. We wanted to make it easy and accessible to give a large variety of tactical orders.
We're starting an artillery barrage to clear them out. Hold position. Ghost, this is Command. Your approach should be clear. Move out.
Let's go!
There's a huge amount of commands that you can give, from a basic advance, which is just go to this area, to flank commands, flank around this area, hold position, placing a demo charge, mission objective-based things.
That should stop them. Ghost, this is Command. Link up with friendly units in the village.
Because you're prone a lot in Ghost Recon, we really wanted to kind of come up with a new system that allows you to more dynamically react with the environment. Each one of the characters is a unique individual. They're not a bunch of clones. So you can choose to order your team to kind of move through the level and basically do everything while you cover them, or you can move through and your team will back you up. The best way to do it is somewhere in between.
Alright, let's move up and secure that pagoda.
All the animations in Ghost Recon 2 are captured from real Special Forces soldiers. So all the gear that you see is appropriate not just to the character, but to real life.
Ghost, it's Command. They're dropping mortars on your position. Get to the helo.
Havoc 2 physics has been integrated into the game engine, and that allows us a real level of realism and immersion when it comes to objects interacting in the game world. When you take out a vehicle, its pieces fly apart realistically. When you blow up a bridge, the pieces come down and they all interact with each other. It's all with the realistic physics that Havoc 2 allows us to have.
This game has not yet been rated. This game has not yet been rated.